Location independent income sets you free. When you are not locked in to your city or your region or your country in order to actually pay your bills, you can go anywhere in the world you want, stay there for as long as you want, and the money keeps coming in. And you have a lot of other freedoms and protections against future problems that people who have location dependent income don't have. But how do you actually deliver products and services to your customers in order to get location independent income? That is what I will discuss in this video right now. This is Alpha Male 2.0 and I am Caleb Jones. I make a multi-six-figure location independent income, international income, while dating multiple attractive women, and I teach men like you how to do the same thing. And when you say location independent income, what most people immediately think of is, oh, an online business. Oh, okay, yeah, I need to start a YouTube channel. Oh, I need to start a blog. Oh, I need to write an ebook. Right? And sell a book on Amazon, right? Right. That's what most people think. And yes, that's valid. That is location dependent income, and that does work. But there's a lot of you who probably have no interest in starting a YouTube video or writing a blog or writing a book or doing any of those things. And that's fine. There's a lot of other ways to deliver products and services to customers so that you can make a location independent income doing what you are already good at doing. I'm going to list a few of those right now. And at the end of the video, I will give you the one that I think is the most fun and the easiest way to make location independent income. And it's a way that most people don't think of. And it's something I've been doing for a long, long time. But with that being said, here are 5 ways in which you can deliver products and or services in a location independent way remotely so that you can make location independent income. And number 1, top of the list, is the obvious one. I'll just get this out of the way so we can go on to the rest, is the ones we just talked about: selling products or information online. So yes, you can sell stuff on eBay. You can drop ship stuff on Amazon through Amazon FBA. You can sell hard products that way. You can write an ebook. You can do online courses. I do all these things. You can do a YouTube video. You can have a blog. You can do a podcast. You can run ads. You can do all these things. Yes. And that is a perfectly valid way to have location independent income as long as you are not wedded to a particular platform. So let me say something about that, because that's super critical in the modern era, in the collapsing left-wing world in which we live in. If you are, let's say, a YouTuber and 100% or 95% of your income comes from YouTube, you should be terrified. I would never want an income like that where 100% of it comes from one platform that I didn't control. All YouTube needs to do is snap its fingers and ban your channel or demonetize your videos, and you're fucked. And you and I both know all kinds of horror stories to many people that's happened to over the past 5, 6, 7 years. The same thing goes for if you are 100% or 90% of your income comes from Facebook ads, or comes from selling stuff purely on Shopify, or it comes from Patreon and nowhere else. If most of your income comes from an external platform that you don't control, you are in danger. You are in big trouble, and you have location independent income, but you don't have solid income. My income, the vast majority of it, comes from platforms I completely control and that no one controls other than me. No one can ban me. No one can kick me off. No one can demonetize me. Now, I'm on platforms like YouTube, of course, but the vast majority of my income doesn't come from these platforms. I have little trickles of income from all these platforms, but all of the income sources that I have in terms of selling information online are platforms that I completely control and that no one can remove me from. I host my own servers. These servers are outside the Western world. They're certainly outside the United States. I've taken a lot of precautions to make sure that I don't get canceled or demonetized or banned, and suddenly now I can't make any money. So if your income is coming from WordPress.com or Twitter or something like that, and that's the vast majority of your income, you need to rethink that shit right now, because you're not safe. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you could do things like that. Today, in this world where everybody hates free speech, that is a terribly, terribly dangerous and unwise business model to follow. Don't do it. Number 2, the number 2 way of delivering products and or services for location independent income is to deliver the same service you were doing at your job. Just do it remotely. So whatever you were or are doing at your job or have experience in your work history, just figure out a way to deliver that same service to clients instead of a boss, and do it remotely. My favorite example, and I have a bunch of these examples, my favorite example is a guy who was an inventory control manager. That was his job. And he made, I forget what he made, $50,000 a year. Didn't make very much money. And he helped control the inventories of a warehouse company because that was his job. And one day he was laid off or quit or got fired. I don't remember the details. And he started a business. And he wrote several of the competitors of the business that he had worked for. And he showed them all the results that he got in terms of optimizing inventory and how much money he saved for his employer. And he wrote a bunch of letters saying, I can do this for you if you'd like me to do it for you. Pay me $5,000 and send me over all your materials. I'll review them and tell you exactly how to change them and send them back to you. And he had a whole bunch of people sign up. And so suddenly, instead of making $50,000 a year, he was making $20,000 a month, working less hours, and he was 100% location independent. He didn't have to drive to work anymore. He got a place out in the Rocky Mountains, a little cabin out there, and he just chilled out. And he just worked for a few hours a day on his computer, reviewing inventory stuff. He made more money and had more freedom and was location independent, doing the same thing he was already doing, except for a job. He was doing it as a consultant in a business. Sometimes it really is that simple. Sometimes a lot of you guys are making this much too complicated. You guys have all these skill sets. You guys have all this work history. You have these beautiful resumes of things you've done from past employers. Just do that for clients delivered in a location independent way where you don't have to physically fly out to their location. If you don't know how to do that, just sit down and figure it out. By the way, if you want more help raising your income, you should join the Six Figure Warrior Mentorship. Enrollment is open for that right now. That is where you work with me one-on-one, plus in a small group over a period of an entire year. You get all my books and all my courses for free as part of the program, and my coaching is actually free. Link below right there, alphafocusprogram.com. Enrollment is only open between October and December of the year, so now is the time if you have any interest in that. Number 3 is to use technology to deliver services remotely. I can give you many examples. I will give you an example from my life. Years ago, I was an IT consultant. I was the typical IT consultant where I drove out to my clients' offices and spent hours and hours and hours a day handling stuff at their office. Then I'd have many appointments and I would pay $1 billion in gas bills, and I was working 70 hours a week and I was making good money, but I was location dependent because I had to physically go out to their offices to do the work. One day I decided to convert my income to location independent, but while still doing the same thing. So I basically mandated to my clients, hey, from now on, I'm not coming out to your office ever again, unless I feel like it. If I feel like it, I'll come out, but I'm not coming out there. So instead of me going to your office, I'm going to install a system on all of your computers. We used to use a system called Log Me In, but there were many back then and still today, of where I can remotely take over any screen in your company, and I can do that from my office, and I can just literally fix your problem right there. If you need me to physically work on a computer or physically set up a laptop or something like that, you're going to just pop it into a box and FedEx it out to me next day air. It'll get to my house the next day. I'll work on it and FedEx it back to you. You'll have it back the next day. And that's what we did. And a few of my clients said, F you. Well, I fired them and I didn't work with them anymore. But most of my clients said, well, that's a little weird, but okay. And I started providing the same exact level of service with the same exact income pretty much, doing the same things I was doing, just in a remote, location independent way. Instead of driving out to offices, I used technology and shipping services to do the exact same things I was already doing. And I parlayed that later into my real consulting business, my strategic planning, time management consulting business, productivity consulting business, where I've done work all over the world for companies all over the world, Asia, Europe, North and South America, all over the world, without ever having to go to those offices unless I wanted to. And if I wanted to, I would fly out there, and my flight and my trip was tax deductible because I was going to work for a client. Beautiful, win-win. So location dependent and saving money on taxes. Can't get more Alpha Male 2.0 than that. Speaking of Alpha Male 2.0, what you need to do is subscribe to this channel, like this video, click the dumb notification bell, and leave a comment on this video. And I don't care what the comment is. The more interactivity and algorithm friendliness I get from this content, the more of this content I will provide to you for free. So that is the fourth way in which you can deliver services remotely. Ask yourself how you can use video, file sharing, and email and texting services to deliver whatever service you're interested in remotely. My favorite example of this is telemedicine. In the olden days, if you had to go to the doctor, you had to get in your car, drive out to a doctor's office, sit in a waiting room, be bored off your ass for an hour, then be called into the doctor's office, the little doctor's room, right? Then you'd sit in that room for another 20 minutes. then the doctor would come in and help you. Stupid. Today, smart doctors, alpha male 2.0 doctors, doctors I've worked with, do telemedicine instead. They do everything over Skype or Zoom. They do everything over video. If they need to share documents, they use Google Drive or whatever, or email or whatever. There are various HIPAA compliant ways in which you can do this, depending on how you do this in your country or wherever you are. How can you use modern technology to deliver the same services you're already doing or have done in the past? There's a shitload of you watching this video right now who have a skill set you could help people with, and you're sitting there thinking, how can I have location-dependent income like Caleb? Dumbass, do the same thing you're doing, but do it over video or email or whatever. There's so many ways to do this. It's not difficult. Now, will some clients or customers or prospects say, no, I don't want to work with you unless you drive out here? Yes, I've had those experiences. Some companies, some individuals, some customers, some clients, a percentage of the people you'll be marketing to will say, I'm not doing that. I want you physically here. I need to be physically there. Great. You know what you do? You don't work with them. I know this, I just blew your mind, but you just don't work with them. You work with the ones who are interested in doing this, the ones who are smarter and actually value their time more, because it's a benefit to the client or customer to be a customer this way, because they don't have to get in a car or a plane or drive somewhere. So it's a benefit for you, the provider, and a benefit for them. And just work with them. Work with clients and customers who see the beauty of your delivery model. Do you think I have clients or customers who don't like how I deliver my products and or services to them? No, I just tell them to fuck off, because they're not in my target audience. I've said that many times about Alpha Male 2.0. I've said, if you love monogamy, if you love having a job, you're not in my target audience. Go fuck off. Why are you watching my videos? Get out of here. I only want people who are compatible with the services that I'm offering in all of my companies. You should have the same attitude. Now that brings us to the last thing, number 5. This is the easiest way, in my opinion, to make location independent income. I've mentioned this before, but I haven't really talked about it in detail, is monetize your hobbies. Monetize your hobbies. Now, the obvious example today is guys who love playing video games start a Twitch channel, and you actually start getting paid to play video games. What a crazy thing. 20 years ago, my joke was, I would love to get paid to play video games, but no one will pay me to play video games. But that was 20 years ago. Now we have Twitch. So now even that isn't an excuse. But whatever your hobbies are, you could probably monetize them. As a matter of fact, this business right here, the Alpha Male 2.0 company, is an outgrowth of me monetizing a hobby a long time ago. Way back in 2009, before I started this company, I was going on lots of first and second dates. And I was trying to figure out a way I could start a little online business where I could make a few $100 that would pay my gas to cover the amount of first and second dates I was doing. My hobby back then was dating and having sex with lots of women. That was my hobby back then. So I monetized my hobby. I started selling books on how to do online dating and first and second dates and non-monogamous relationships under the Black Dragon brand name. And voila, very quickly it more than paid for those things. So I monetized my hobby. I turned my hobby into an income source instead of an expense. Matter of fact, if I had not done that, you wouldn't be watching this video right now, because there would be no Alpha Male 2.0, because Alpha Male 2.0 is an outgrowth of that dating materials I did way back 13 years ago. Whatever you like to do for fun, working on the car, playing video games, building computers, it doesn't matter what it is. I promise there is at least 2 or 3 little businesses, location independent businesses, you can start from that hobby. Now, not in all cases. Let me give you one disclaimer. Artists and musicians. If you're an artist, you like to draw comic book stuff, or you're a musician, that's more difficult. I've mentioned that before. So if you're an artist, that's more difficult to make money. So other than artists, any other hobby you can think of that is not pure art, it's relatively easy to monetize that stuff if you get a little creative and follow the other steps I talked about in this video. Location independent income is easy. It's not hard. I know you think it's hard. I know you think it's complicated. I know you think it takes a lot of work. It doesn't. Getting location independent income, which opens you up to things like 5 flags and an international lifestyle and various other things in your life that are pretty fucking awesome, is not that difficult. Matter of fact, if you want a video on 5 ways to start a location independent business, you can watch that video right here. I have a lot of other videos and resources for you here on my channel and at my blog, calebjones.com. It's not that tough. I suggest you take a look at it. Your life will be better for it. I will see you in the next video. Bye.